Students, in this class we are going to see about the problems on centroid of a complex problems. Last class we also had found out the centroid only, but using a simple problems, that is circular, triangular, parabol, simple semicircle, all the common shapes. But now we are going to do for a complex systems, that is consist of different type of shapes together. For that we need to know about some basics. See, this table I had shared in our first class of this module, where you can see that if it is a rectangle, because this is used when you are doing some problem. So you have to study this or you have to bycode this table first. If it is a rectangle, consider this as a rectangle, then your area will be B into D. Your x value will be B by 2 and y bar value will be D by 2. Only x bar and y bar will be used for your centroid calculation. This ixx, iyy and ixy will be used in your moment of inertia calculation. So as a common, I had already circulated this. I hope that you already had studied this. If not, go through the formulas first, then you come to the problems, because this will be related only from this table. If you are taking circle, your circle area will be pi r square, or else if you are substituting d instead of r, it will be equal to pi d square divided by 4. Then x bar and y bar will be equal to your radius. When you are considering semicircle, the area formula will be pi into r square divided by 2, and your x bar will be r, y bar will be 4r divided by 3 pi. When it is a quadricircle, you have to take this components. Okay, from this tables only you are going to take the values for your x, y and your normal area. Okay, these all things you need to know, because while doing the sums will have a complex shapes. You have to find out which shape we have to adopt and which is the formula you have to know. First, basics of the sums I'll tell you first. How to take your x and y value wherever the sum can ask. Okay, if it is a circular, they are giving a x-axis over here and x-axis over here and y-axis over here, then the distance will be from the axis, from the y-axis, the distance is called as x. From the x-axis, the distance is called as y. I hope you got already you know this basics. If it is the distance in this parameter, it is called y-axis, and if the distance in this parameter, it will called as a x distance. That same thing only we are going to adopt. In some cases, they may give, like if it is a rectangle component, they will give y-axis here and x-axis here. That means if you are going to find the centroid of this particular portion, this should be taken as the distance as minus of your y, because it is down. You have to consider this axis. If it is in this way, it is positive. In this way, it is positive. If it is on left side of your axis, it is negative. If it is downwards of your axis, it is negative. This is your common principle. You have to adopt the same. After doing problems, you will come to know. Okay. So first problem, just it will be easy for you. Locate the centroid of lamina shown in figure with respect to point A. Okay, this is your structure they had given. That structure is like this. This is your given lamina. Now you have to find the centroid of this lamina. We doesn't have this as a common shape. How you will find now? Here they had given one axis, that is your y, and here they had given us a x axis. See, now you can divide into your three type of components. This will be your one triangle, right? And whole thing will be your this whole thing will be your rectangle, that is 2. When you subtract your semicircle portion, or it is called as a quadrant circle, when you subtract your quadrant circle from this rectangle, you will get the remaining shape of this. Okay, You need to find out in which way you can analyze this diagram. This is your question. This is only the difficulty you want to find. I hope you understood. I'll repeat for you. This is your first triangle you can take. Then you can separate this into a another one rectangle. But this shape is not our original question. This quadrant has to be, we have to minus this quadrant. So this can be taken as a quadrant circle. So remaining portions will give you the portion. You can find the centroid of this portion easily. So I'll tell you the procedures. In this diagram, you can see that they had separated into one triangle, another one rectangle, and other one is a quadrant. In this part, which is has to be detected part, that means which has to be minus, this portion has to be in minus. So when they do table, you have to put another column like components, component area, that is A. Then you have to find AX and AY simultaneously. Here they had not given, but you added. First component, I'm taking that as our rectangular area. This is your rectangle component, and the whole x distance, how you'll calculate, this is already they had given us 40. In the diagram you can easily see the radius is 40. You have to know about the distance particularly. Okay, to calculate the distance also you need to analyze the diagram. When you are dividing it into 2, what will be this distance? Since it is radius of 40, this will be equal to 40. Already it has been given as 20. So total distance is here 60. So this will be 60. What is this whole distance? This whole distance is given as 70. And this portion is your 40. So 70 minus 40, remaining will be your 30. So these are all your valuation you have to know while doing the sum. First portion they are considering as a rectangular portion. Where is your rectangular portion lies? This is your rectangular portion. So your x-axis value is 40, this 40 plus your 20. So x-axis is equal to 60. This will be equal to 40. So A into B will give you the area. So 60 into 40. When you are going for the x component, see the table over here. For the rectangle, they had given x is equal to b by 2. Same like your y is equal to d divided by 2. That is height divided by 2. That is what we had taken over here in this sum. B is your 40 plus 20, 60. So 60 divided by 2 is 30. Height is given as 40. So 40 divided by 2 is your 20. This is your first component. What is the second component you have to take? That is your triangular element. So consider this is your triangular element. Triangular element formula to find out the area is half into b into h. Okay, this half is your formula and your b is your this total distance, that is 60 into your height is this 30. So half into 60 into 30 will give you the component area. You have to find the x and y. Now go to your table. You need to know which type of triangle is this. How you will find which is this type of triangle? Triangle, normal triangle will be like this. This has an angle of 90 degree at one end and the other end it is not. So this is equal to your right angled triangle. Okay, now you go for your table consisting the name of right angle triangle. See, the sixth column will define you the right angle triangle. In this they had given the formula as half into BH for your area. And the other thing they had given in the right angled side. That means if your triangle is like this, your x will be b by 3 from base. Okay. Your y will be h by 3 from base. This is your normal thing. That means whenever you are calculating x, this should be from this corner towards your inner side, that will be equal to b divided by 3. Same like h by 3 from the base, that is from this corner, h by 3. This is from this side. Consider if your triangle is like this, okay, from this corner this will be equal to h by 3, and from this corner it will be equal to b by 3. In our diagram, our triangle is in this position. So we are going to adopt this. Go to your problem now. See, h by 3 and b by 3. b by 3 for your x and h by 3 for your y. So what is your b by 3? b is your, consider, b is your this total distance. What is the total distance? It is 60 divided by 3. What is 60 divided by 3? It is your 30. Okay. So that 30 will be from this corner, it will be equal to 20. Right. This remaining will be your 40 and this will be your 20. How this came? It is b divided by 3. So 40 plus 20 will be equal to 60 divided by 3, that is equal to 20. So 60 divided by 3, that is from this corner it is 20. So I am marking 20 over here. Same like the height will be h divided by 3. What is your h distance? 30 divided by 3, which is equal to 10. So that 10 we have to mark from the bottom towards up, that is 10. So the remaining will give you the 30 minus 10 is 20. Now you have to understand the concept like wherever they ask x and y, it has to be from the axis. Right. So we had found this is 20 from this corner, but we need the distance from your axis. So the total distance is 60 minus 20 will give you the remaining distance as 40. So from the y-axis it is 40. So your x value is 40. Same like when you are finding y, this upward position, same. When you are finding x, this is your y-axis. So from this y-axis it is 40. The remaining distance you already calculated, that is your 20. But when you are calculating your y distance, it has to be from the axis. Your centroid is here for this triangle, that is from the portion of your triangle it is of 10. Okay, but we need from the axis. So what we have to do? This 40 plus 10 we have to do. Got it? Wherever you need to find the centroid, you need to calculate from the axis. So this has to be calculated using the formula you had found, that as a 10. But for this you don't need to substitute any formula. That is your height of your axis. So it is 40 plus 10, which will be equal to your 50 in your y. Okay, so two components got over. What is the detection part we have to do? This semicircle portion we doesn't need. Okay, this is the portion we want to detect it. So we are keeping this in a minus symbol. That means whenever we are adding the value, you should subtract the portion of this. What is the formula to find the area of the semicircle? Sorry, quadrant circle. It is pi into this r square divided by 4. This is your formula given in your table. Pi r square divided by 4. R is equal to 40 in this quadrant circle. So you are substituting pi into 40 square divided by 4. Why you are putting negative symbol? Since we need to subtract the portion. So we are keeping it as a minus symbol. How the x value will come? X value will be equal to 4 into r divided by 3 pi, and y is also equal to 4 into r divided by 3 pi. Where we got this? See, in this diagram we had found this. In the fourth table, just see quarter circle, pi r square divided by 4 is your area, 4r by 3 pi, which will be for your x and y. So both the thing we are calculating the same thing. Okay. Next thing you have to find it like a into x and a into y. Okay, here they had not mentioned in this. You have to put a table including your a into your x value and a into your y value, so you'll get three different type of answers. After that you need to find the summation of a, that means addition of this three values. Next, summation of ax, that is addition of this three value. Summation of ay, that is addition of this three value. When you got all three, substitute in a formula. X bar is equal to summation of ax by a, and y bar is equal to summation of ay by summation of a. When you put this, you will get a centroid point, that is x bar will lie at a 42.41 mm and y bar is 35.07 mm. What is that states means? See, this is your shape. They had given a shape like this. We had divided into this and this portion. Consider this is your given diagram now. Sorry, this is your diagram now. We need to find the centroid of this portion. So your centroid lies from the x distance of 42.41 mm and in a y of 35.07 mm. At that point only your centroid is acting. So this is the procedure to do the sum. Whatever the complexity of your problem they give, you have to do this simple things. You need to first remind of some procedures, like when the values come in the left side of your axis it is negative, same like when it come downwards of your axis it is also negative. When the portion we need to subtract it, you need to detect while doing this table. These are all the simple procedures you need to do. We'll move to the one more problem now. See this question they had given. This is also your one more complexity problem. See, here they had given your axis as this one and this two. This is your axis. They had given the structure like this. So this is your structure. We doesn't have a formula to find directly for this type of structure. So we are dividing this complex into a normal shapes and we are going to find the centroid. So consider now this may be taken as one triangle. So the other thing can be taken as one square and you can neglect this portion of your quadrant circle. Got it? Same like your previous thing, it is in your negative part. Okay, this is your triangle, this is your square and this is your quadrant circle. Now the same procedure you are going to adopt to find the centroid. Now see, you are going to take for a first rectangle. Rectangle is here with the following distance, that is 80 plus 40 and this is your 80. So total area will be 120 into your 80 will give you the area, and this half, that is 120 divided by 2 will give you the x distance and 80 divided by 2 will give you the y distance. That is what they had mentioned here. See, rectangle 80 divided by 2 will give you y and your x will be taken from the 120 divided by 2. Next, this triangle is your scalene triangle. How it can be determined? In your table, just see the reference. This is your triangle, that is scaling triangle. They had given the formula half into b into h for finding your area. A plus b divided by 3 for your x and h divided by 3 for your y. So consider that formula and go for your sum now. This is your scalene triangle. We know the formula from the table, that is half into b into h for your area. So substitute your value to find your area. Then for your x it is equal to a plus b divided by 3, which is your a distance. See, this is your a distance and this is your b, that is whole is your b distance. So that is what called as 80 plus 120 divided by 3. You can take it from the diagram also. This is your a, that is from the axis what is called as your x a, and the whole will be as a b. So a plus b, that is what they had mentioned here, 80 plus 120 divided by 3. Then for the y, it is equal to h by 3. What we had already said, that whatever the value you are taking, it must be from the axis. Okay, here it is h by 3. But from the bottom, what will be the length? Up to this is 80. So what will be the distance to the centroid? 80 plus h divided by 3. Whenever the point we are taking for x and y, we need to consider that point from any one of the axes. If you are taking, see, you are going to take, this is your y axis, here one circle is there, and your rectangle is here. You are going to take the G point to this. So what you will take? This whole distance also you have to adopt, plus this you have to use the formula to find it. The same concept only you are going to take here. 80 is your normal rectangular depth, and for the other it is h divided by 3. So take that to find your y. We need to detect now which position. Detection is your quadrant position. This position you have to detect it like your previous problem. So same thing you are doing here. Detection they had given, so they had not mentioned minus, but when you add all this you have to minus this value. Okay, that minus will be equal to, put the formula and substitute the value, so that you will get the detection of these many values. You have to calculate the three parameters, that is summation of a, summation of ay, and summation of ax. Why? Because your x bar is equal to summation of a into x divided by summation of a. Y bar is equal to summation of ay divided by summation of a. Okay, substitute in the formula to get your coordinates. Now I hope you all had an idea how to find it. Now we'll move to some more complexity of the problems. Now see, this is given like this structure. How you will find it? This may be like a complex for you to find, but it is very simple. Okay, they had given this diagram and they had asked you to find the centroid of the structure. Now you can divide the structure into so many parts. How you will divide it? See, this can be taken as one rectangle. Same like this portion can be taken as another rectangle. This portion can also be taken as another rectangle. So three portions we had already covered now. This whole thing we had covered. What is the remaining thing? It can be taken as a whole semicircle. In this we can detect this portion of a small semicircle. Can you able to understand this? I'll repeat you for you how they are separating it. This can be taken as one rectangle. This can be taken as another rectangle. This portion is also can taken as another rectangle. Consider this as a whole semicircle and detect this small portion of your semicircle. So you'll get the remaining all the area of this, and you can find the centroid of this. So I am taking first, see, they had divided over here. I am taking the component 1, which is my component 1. I am taking like this is my component 1. What is the whole breadth? This breadth will be equal to 50 given in the diagram. Okay, this whole depth is given as 12. So 50 into 12 will give you the area, and your x distance you need to find. In this diagram clearly mentioned like your x and y axis lies in between. So this is your y axis and this is your x axis. Now you need to find at which point your G acts. So it is in your left side of your y axis, and here this is your first component. Here it is going to lie. That means it is divided by 2. So 50 divided by 2 is 25. This remaining distance is 100. So what will be the exact x distance? 100 plus 25. So that is what they had given us, 125, but they had mentioned in a symbol of minus. Why? Because it is on the left side of your axis. So it is minus 125. Same like your y of y, how you will calculate? It is from your x axis you need to calculate. See, in this thing it is of 12, so the total is 12. From this to the center it is 6 mm. This is, you can take it as normally because it is from the axis, so it is above, so we are taking it as 6. Second component we are taking this one, the second rectangle. This is your second rectangle. Same formula type you have to adopt. What will be the see, the length will be, this will be 12 and this will be your total distance is 125. This values and all given here. Okay, no need to panic, every value was given in the question. We are going to just simply study the formula and take up the value. That is what we are going to do. Now we have to calculate what is our x value and y value. X value should be taken from the y axis, right? So here I am considering my g2, that will be equal to divided by 2. So 12 divided by 2 will give you 6. Already this distance is 100. So 100 plus 6 is 106 in the negative direction. So I am taking it as minus 106. How you are going to take the y? It is from the x axis towards the center. Already this is total is 12 and the remaining thing is 125 divided by 2. So 125 divided by 2 plus 12 will give you 74.5. Same like you need to calculate for this also. When you do that, you may have this x as 0. Why? This is lying on the plane. Got it? X is from your, see, sorry ma, this third one is like your 50 into 12. How they had taken 50 into 12? This thing is your 50 and this depth is your 12. So 50 into 12 is mentioned over here. Same like your x distance is from the y axis. Already you need to calculate this one and this is divided by 2. That is called 125. Why they are mentioned in positive? Because it is in a positive side of your y axis. Your y will be equal to this 125 plus 12 divided by 2. Okay, so it will be equal to 131. That is also in a positive direction. Now what we have to take? We have to take two semicircle. One is for this whole thing and the other is one for this small thing. Okay, what will be the whole radius? That will be equal to, see, in this question they had given that is 100. Okay, so the inner distance is 100. From this diagram you can easily calculate that this inner semicircle is of 100 radius. So what will be the outer semicircle radius from the center? It will be equal to 112 because the thickness is 12 mm. So from this only they had taken that the radius is 112 for the outer and 100 for your inner. Why they had put minus symbol in the fifth component? Because we are going to subtract the fifth component to get the whole shape. So after calculating this, you have to calculate the AX and AY. After getting those, you have to add the whole table and you have to find the summation of A, summation of AX and summation of AY. Put it in the formula and find out your X and Y coordinate for your centroid of this diagram. This is your another model. Now we'll go to some more complex things. Okay, consider this diagram. This is very easy sum for you comparative to your previous things. Okay, they had given the simple thing, but you need to just see that where is your axis lies. they had given this is your y-axis and this line is your x-axis. You can divide this component into three parts. No need to detect any parts. Okay, consider this as one triangle, that is right angle triangle. This one is your rectangle and this one is your semicircle of radius 2.25 meter. Okay, after considering that, go for your table. For the rectangle, you know a into b divided by 2 is your x, and for your y, go for that and do this. But when you are considering semicircle, they had given for the x value it is a negative. Why? Because it is lying on your left side of your y-axis, so you have to be very careful in finding your x distance. That is what they had given here. See, the formula for your semicircle is like 4r divided by 3 pi. That can be reduced into 0.424 from the table. This value they had taken from your table. So no need to panic. This is from your table value. But when you substitute the values, you will get 0.954, but it is in a negative direction. Why? Because your semicircle is lies on your left side of your axis. So that is what they had mentioned negative. When you mention negative over here, your ay will be positive, ax will be negative. Why? A is positive but your x component is negative. So when you put multiplication, you will get as a negative value. So when you do all the three things, sum it up your values, that is summation of a, summation of ay and summation of ax. After doing that, substitute in a formula and get your centroid value. This is also same like your previous things. When you are doing more number of problems, it will be very easy for you to do this. Okay, compulsory one problem will be coming from your centroid like this build-up sections, or it may be come from your moment of inertia. That we'll see it in our next class. Okay, this thing is from your basics. Next class we'll see about your normal moment of inertia. This completely full of your centroid calculation. For the next upcoming sums, I'll just define you how to calculate the different parts of your structures. From this sum, we'll see it in our next video.